where's my mic? Amateur hour is this? Trying to do a live stream, talking about you're gonna call people out, and you don't have your microphone ready? Come on, son. What is really going on? All right, I'm gonna try to lower the microphone a little bit this time. Last time I got a little bit of distortion, talking loud with this loud ass car. Hopefully, there's no distortion today. So first of all, I'm a big fan of the Vanguard. Shout out to the Vanguard, one on the left, when it comes to talking about the housing situation. A lot of information not covered by anyone on the left, whether it's progressive, liberal media. I am on the inside, right? I got inside information about some garbage that's going on, and you guys ghosted me on that, just like other folks on the left, right? But the right wing did it as well, right? Because I think the left doesn't want to talk about it. The right did it because they know I have no loyalty, and I will be savage on their asses. They're not going to use me as a tool. I'm not here trying to get famous. So if a right winger puts me on their channel, I'm not going to sit there and just be like, oh, the left, they've gone too far, whatever, right? If I have an issue with the left, I'm going to say it. But on the same token, if I'm on your platform, you best believe I'm going to call you out on your BS. So right wing don't want to talk about it. I had hundreds of people on a big right wing channel, hundreds of their fans saying, bring me on. Nothing. Left wing, nothing. But put that aside, I still do love your content. I'm still a subscriber. I enjoy the content. People like to dismiss you guys and say you're gossip. But the same people who will call you gossip ain't got no issue with Tucker Carlson talking about buttholes in the sun, right? Or M&Ms or whatever childish BS that's insulting to the American conservative that he's out there talking about, right? You don't got no issues with him, right? He's a serious journalist because one time he said something bad about war. I mean, you guys are such marks. You make it so easy to fool, right? But let's stay on the topic. I'm a highly trained Air Force veteran, and I watched a video today from the Vanguard that was absolutely a joke. Talk about clueless, talking about things you don't know nothing about. I'm the highly trained veteran who knows the ins and outs. I have been highly trained in how to assassinate people based on, I mean, that's the mission, right? If I'm sent on a mission to assassinate someone, I will do my order. I follow orders. It's not that I want to kill somebody, but if I get an order that says, hey, go kill this guy, that's what I did, right? Sneak up in the middle of the night, you know, while they're not looking, you know, all this, all the stuff. I mean, yes, the stuff we go in, we sneak in, and we take you out, right? And then leave no trace. Now, of course, if you have half a brain and you realize that what I just said is complete nonsense, I was not trained to kill. I mean, I guess technically you could say I was, but not in any way that is meaningful, right? But what I want to call the Vanguard out for is, number one, not knowing anything about the military. I mean, being completely clueless about the military. And this is not like, you know, you don't know specific military tactics or how you know, the military organization, how it works, how the funding works, or the ranks, or you know what I mean, or you don't know the difference between an Apache helicopter and a transvestite. Sorry, stupid joke. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stuff that even someone who's not in the military, doesn't have any intimate knowledge of the military, should know just from sort of logical deduction, right? So that's why I say it's absolutely clueless. It's not even a matter of just like, hey, okay, these guys clearly don't have any military experience, so you know, understandably they're gonna make some mistakes, right? No. They should know better, even with no military experience, just using common sense. Now, I know a lot of people who don't have common sense like to talk about common sense, especially from right-wing media, but legit, this is a common sense thing. So what is the problem? First of all, let's be clear. My quote-unquote training to kill someone is the fact that in basic training, which they mentioned, in basic training, we get basic firearms training, right? So I was trained on the M16, right? And that's something we did at the very end of basic training So a lot of people never even touch the guns because obviously if you don't make it through basic training, you're not gonna do the thing at the end, right? So most of basic training, we're marching, we're learning military history, we're learning ranks, we're doing, physical education, so we're doing exercises, lots of push-ups, right? Every day, lift, right on lift, lift, right on lift, right on lift, right on lift, about, haste, forward, haste, right? And we're doing a lot of this, when you see a captain come by or somebody, yes, sir. No, sir sandwiches. Sir, yes, sir. No, that's on some, what is it? What's that movie, man? I almost said full leather jacket. Metal jacket. That's a classic movie, by the way. But yeah, that's what we learned. We learned marching, all this mumbo jumbo. At the end, we do firearms training. Now, all that is, so at that point in time in basic training, I knew the parts of an M16, right? The full name of it, how to disassemble it, how to hold it, how to carry it, how to load it, basic techniques of firing, how to fire the gun and aim it, and all that kind of stuff. Using that fat on your cheek and I guess shoulder. It's so long ago now, and that's a big part of the point, right? So we went out on the range. I don't know, was it one time? Right, I guess you qualified. They're looking to see if there's any, marksman. I assume that's part of the process, because if you're a marksman, when you do the test, you know what I mean, you're going to score very highly, and they're probably going to target you. They're going to record that, and someone's going to target you. They might recruit you based on other factors for some special ops mumbo jumbo. I'm sure that's some of what they're doing. Also, you're in the military, right? So you got to be able to handle a gun, right? I mean, we're in a wartime situation. So some people, let's just say they just really don't have the aptitude, right? Just cannot shoot for crap, right? Untrainable. That person is problematic to be in the military, right? So if I'm not mistaken, a long time ago now, if I'm not mistaken, if you don't pass because I think it's a test, everything basic training is a test, right? So I'm pretty sure the range is a test. So you have to, I don't know what the minimum is. You probably have to hit the target at least once or something. I would guess if you go to basic training and you're unable to hit the target even once, you probably wash out for that. I'm guessing. It's a long time ago. Right? So that's the extent of my high training to kill people. Right? I held an M16 once. I held an M16 once. Right? I fired at some paper thing. Let's see at the range, you get the little, I think I did so long ago. I assume it was like a person. It looks like a person. You have the head and a torso, and it's like a piece of paper hanging on something. I don't know. You have some kind of target, and you aim at it and try to get as much hits as possible. Try to get a bullseye, whatever, right? And then they judge you. They grade you on how good you are, right? That's the extent of my highly trained. I'm a highly trained military veteran. So if I put a guy in a headlock, trust me, if he dies, it's because I meant to kill him, right? Because I'm highly trained. How could I ever put in a headlock and not kill them unless I want to kill them? Because again, I'm a highly trained military person. This is the argument that was being made by the Vanguard. Again, big fan of the Vanguard, but I'm the most disloyal person on this platform. I don't really care, and I got this BMW stalking me. BMWs, they hear the exhaust and they get nervous, and then they want to follow me around. Anyway, so we're gonna have to end this stream. I'm gonna be in the mountains anyway, so I'm gonna lose you guys anyway. Anyway, the big argument was that this was a highly trained Marine, highly trained to kill. He's gonna know how to kill someone, so he knows that when he puts someone in a headlock, he knows how to do it without them dying, right? And there goes the fuzz right there. and I don't know why my radar detector is not on. That's a problem. I don't know if they're running radar or not. All right. So so they said all this stuff about he's highly trained, whatever. How could he kill the guy without wanting to kill the guy? Okay, I'm gonna break this down, and this is something you don't have to be in the military to just common sense figure out. In the military, whether you are Marines, Air Force, Navy, Army, whatever, right? There's a lot of things that are involved in having a military force, right? There's a lot of things involved in, going to war, right? For example, someone has to wash. Yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna lose you guys. Someone has to be psychologist, dishwasher, garbage man, work, administrative, right? People who gas up the aircraft, people who load the bullets and the whatever different types of weapons, right? Common sense, even though you have no military experience, you should know there's a lot of things involved in the military. Someone has to do all these different jobs. And it's to me, it exposes how simplistic they're thinking of the military. Now, they bring up very valid points. Now, right-winger would jump in and take this kind of angle, like, yeah, they don't even... All right, so hopefully the reception's a little bit better here. And ironically, or not, I'm at a military installation. Perfect place to be talking about the military. I'd have to park right in the sun. God damn it. So they brought up some valid points about the military, concerns about the military, us being the world's police. But I think the way that they kept saying with confidence, highly trained Marine. I mean, it's indicative of a problem in their analysis skills. And this is not going to be this is not going to be something isolated, right? To be that positive that this guy's a highly trained Marine without knowing anything about what this guy does, without even having the critical thinking skills to realize the military, people have different jobs, right? Now, in full context, I am former Air Force. Air Force is, we're more digital. We're dropping bombs. We're dealing with, aerial surveillance. Our mission is air superiority, right? So we're not really about, hand-to-hand combat and going and killing people with guns. Well, not handguns, right? We do have our version of special forces, which, funny story for another time, I actually tried out for, but not to actually potentially get in. One of the reasons I didn't want to get in is because there was talk about having to eat bugs. I am man enough to actually serve in the military, unlike some people online talking about what's masculine and what's not. But I'm not man enough to eat bugs, all right? And I didn't like the chemical warfare stuff. I think there's something about, I think that's for all of us really, but something about some injection in your heart thing. And I was like, that's just gross. So anyway, I was trying out during basic training, knowing I wasn't going to get in, really to get away from the barracks. Basic training is basically kind of like prison. Yeah, you know that you spend a lot of time outside of your cell, but it's kind of like prison. So anyway, so we do have, what are they called? They're called OSI is the feds, are like special forces, not special forces. That's like our, like FBI or something, or CIA or something. But oh my goodness, what are they called? I don't remember, but we have our special forces. I think it's pararescue, and the name sounds like, you know, those are the ones who go do rescues. So pilot gets shot down, and you know, we get authorization to do a rescue because based on where they get shot down, what kind of mission they're on. Look at that big ass American flag in the back of that truck. All right, you know, those are the guys you would send in. You'd send in pararescue. Those are the guys who go behind enemy lines and, you know, do all kinds of craziness. But generally speaking, we are flying aircraft, maintaining aircraft. We are handling all the technology and infrastructure that's involved in maintaining air superiority. So you have surveillance. You got what is it called, EWACS. You got those aircrafts that have the big disc. It's almost like a sort of a mobile cellular network, to oversimplify. So you're able to see further based on having an actual aircraft with this, let's call it an antenna, right? That's broadcasting information, and you might have multiple different locations. So you're able to get more details and cover a larger area and do a lot of different things. But yeah, so we're not really hand-to-hand combat people. Now that's more Marines and Army. Definitely, I would expect to get Marines boot camp. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it's a longer one, much more physically demanding. I believe the Army as well. So Air Force would be probably the easiest one, I would presume, because again, that's not our main mission, right? So maybe as a Marine, I'm just guessing, right? I wasn't a Marine. Maybe instead of just one day with an M16, maybe they get trained on several weapons, different handguns, rifle, whatever. And maybe it's a week long on weapons and combat. I don't think we didn't even get any hand-to-hand combat stuff, I don't think. The only thing in terms of fighting is firearms training, which was, I believe, one day, maybe two. Maybe we learned about the guns one day, and then the next day we did the range. But that was it. It was really simple. I would assume the Marines probably spend more time with firearms training and hand-to-hand combat. However, and again, the statement that he's a highly trained Marine, that you should know how to strangle someone, how to put someone in a headlock and not kill him, it's kind of like you saying, I'm a highly trained Air Force guy, so, I should know how to fly an aircraft. I should know everything about flying aircraft, right? Not even knowing if I even flew aircraft in the military, right? Partially because I'm ex Air Force, I certainly know more about flying an aircraft than the average person does, but to make that assumption is kind of ridiculous. The same thing with a police officer. You assume, hey, this guy's a police officer, so clearly he should be really well knowing like how to handle firearms or de-escalating, and you don't even know what their job is, right? There's people who have administrative jobs in the police force, right? It's kind of like this sort of one-dimensional perception of what the military is and what people in the military are. So now when we hear them talking about the military stuff, we have to understand that it's coming from people who think in this way, that just because a guy's a Marine, he knows how to. And then here's another thing, that it's not even about just like me trying to own them or something like that, because here this is actually something that could be helpful to them if they would actually listen to what I'm trying to say and recognize that it's a good faith critique. However you may feel about the way I titled my video, whatever, put that aside. It is a good faith critique, and it is something that could benefit them by listening to what I'm saying. When you do stuff like this, right? Now, I'm not here pushing ideology, right? I'm not here to push people to the left, push people to the right, push people to the center, right? I'm here to push people to the truth. And wherever the truth takes you, that's on you. If learning the truth about things makes you want to be a right-winger more or become a right-winger, I mean, I would be disappointed that that's how you feel, but do your thing, right? At least you are making a decision based on facts and truth, and you're not being manipulated. Like, that's my goal. I want you to come to a position, your ideology based on truth and facts, not emotions, and not manipulation and brainwashing, right? So if learning the truth tells you conservative is the way to go, disappointing, but go do your thing. If watching me pushes you towards the left, whatever. Now I'm obviously left leaning, so I wouldn't be disappointed that you go to the left, but I wouldn't feel a sense of accomplishment that I recruited another member to the left, right? And if I push you to the center, or if watching me push you to the center, I find that to be disappointing as well. But it's not like I failed, right? Because again, I'm not trying to push people towards ideology. Now, I get the impression that the Vanguard is, to some degree, trying to push out a message in terms of, left-wing ideology, progressive ideology. They're trying to sell their ideas to their audience. So if that's what you're trying to do, it's counterproductive to have these kinds of takes, because you're basically giving the right, this is like a slam dunk, right? This is easy pickings. If it comes out that this guy is a cook or a janitor or a doctor, well, in terms of in the Marines, if he was a cook or a doctor or something like that, or something administrative, that comes out, dishonest right-wing influencers will jump on that and use that to further, diminish your credibility, right? That's all they do. They're not really right-wingers in terms of right-wing media. They're anti-liberals is what they, and that's not really what they are. That's the content. Their ideology is not necessarily the same as their content. I talk about that all the time, right? You got people who are left-wingers who pretend to be right-wingers, people who are right-wingers but maybe pretend to be more extreme than they actually are. But the views that people promote are profit-based, right? So regardless of what their ideology is, when you have these right-wing channels, right, they're basically anti-liberal channels, and they love anything that gives them an attack vector to say the left sucks, right? So if you go out there making videos talking about this guy was a highly trained Marine, he kept saying it over and again, highly trained, he must know how to put somebody in a headlock, and you don't know anything about this guy did. The way he kept saying it, I thought he actually knew what the guy did in Marines, and he was basing that on, when he said highly trained, it was based on that. But then after listening to him, I realized he doesn't even know what the guy does. Right? Because he basically exposed himself by some of the stuff that he was saying on the Vanguard, basically saying that he didn't really know what this guy did. He had a feeling, right? Just like Ben Shapiro loves to be based on feelings, and Crowder based on feelings. And I'm not trying to make that these guys are the same as those guys, right? But in terms of partisan media, in terms of American media, Americans are very emotional. It's not a right-wing thing or a left-wing thing. Americans are very emotional. That's why we have so much violence. People, instead of thinking about what they're doing and critically thinking, we react and like, oh, you bastard. And people want to, get grown men fighting over nonsense. That's the American culture, right? So, you go and you keep talking about highly trained, and then you listen to some of his words, and you could tell he didn't really know what the guy did. A right-winger sees this, and they jump on it, and let's say we found out he's a cook, right? And they say, listen, this is on the left, they lie. The guy is a cook, and they're out there telling their audience about how he's a high-trained sniper, and he's a special ops. Of course, like, even in a situation where you've given them something where they could attack you, a valid attack, right? What you said is incorrect. If finally he's a cook, then what you said is incorrect, right? So you've given them a valid attack, but just this is how dishonest they are. They wouldn't just say that, right? And you see this in liberal media as well. Not trying to say they're the same. I know people want to think, oh, you're trying to say the same. They're not the same. I think anybody watching my channel know which side I prefer, right? But regardless, you see the same kind of behavior, right? This particular behavior, where it's really sort of emotion-based versus fact-based, right? He felt that this guy was highly trained. He had feelings about what it means to be a Marine, right? And based on those feelings, he was reacting and having this visceral reaction. This guy clearly killed him, because how could he, a highly trained Marine, put a guy in a headlock and kill him because he knows better, without knowing anything about this guy. So again, right-wing media will jump in, and rather than just say that, right, expose you for the putting out false information, they would have to embellish it and say that you said he was a sniper or he was a special forces. And I don't know, maybe he did say some stuff like that. I don't remember hearing him say stuff like that, but they're gonna take it to the extreme level, because it's all about content, right? So you went and said he's highly trained. Let's juice it up even more, and let's say that you said the most extreme. You said this guy was a black ops operator. You know what I mean? So they're gonna say that. And then they're also going to use it to say, like, these are the people who are saying about gun. They want the gun policy. They know nothing. They know nothing about this. They know nothing about weapons, right? Calling automatic rifles and you know what I mean? And then here it is, the military, right? Like, here again, don't know anything about this stuff that you're commenting on. Like, that's going to be their feedback. And what is their audience going to take from that, right? It's going to further validate the ideas that have been taught, that the left just sucks and you guys are a bunch of liars, right? And here's a clear case. Look, he said he was a highly trained whatever. We looked it up. The guy was a cook. They're lying to you. They lie. The left always lies. So, right? You guys doing stuff like that hurts your cause. I don't believe in your cause. I like your content. I don't believe in your cause. Because basically what you're doing is propaganda. I'm sorry to say, right? Look up what the word propaganda means. If you're trying to promote an ideology, you're doing propaganda. That's what it means, right? If your whole channel is about, attacking somebody else's ideology, like the anti-liberal channels, every day, the left, that's propaganda. That's what propaganda is. I don't know why in this country, we have all this technology. Everybody's got these smartphones. Look it up, right? So what they're really doing is propaganda. Even though I love the content, there's a lot of valuable information on there, it's propaganda, right? They're promoting an ideology, right? But that's their choice. They choose to do that route rather than just be, I'm just doing news. I'm talking about what's happening in the news. I'm informing my audience. No, there's a goal of promoting an ideology. So if that is your goal, right, then doing stuff like this is counterproductive. If a Marine puts somebody in a headlock and they die, right, before you comment about and attribute certain things about that Marine, you need to investigate and find out more than the fact that he was a Marine, right? You can't just say, oh, he's a Marine, he's highly trained. No, right? And if you don't know the facts about who he was and what he did, then tone that down, right? Tone that down. You can suggest, like, I hope he's not a highly trained Marine because he should have known better. But to say with such confidence repeatedly, highly trained Marine, he should know better, without knowing anything about this guy's job was irresponsible and counterproductive to your cause. Straight up. Anyway, it is super hot. I am hungry, even though I just ate. That's weird. How are you enjoying the summer? Oh, I love the weather, man. Hey, Andrew. Truth is neither party. Damn it, you're talking guns and I'm late for class. Truth is neither party. Any ideology or any politician is trustworthy enough for Americans to give up their guns. Screw all of them. Keep the guns. Oh man, yeah, I'm loved, man. Today I painted my deck. Oh, it was so nice. Well, I'm in a car with the windows up, right? So it's a little sticky, a little sweaty right now, but it was not today when I was outdoors. Light breeze, right? I think it was like 70 degrees, low humidity. Woo! It felt so good, man. And I'm really getting into painting. I think I can say I love painting. I don't know. I'm really getting an affinity for it. I enjoy it, and especially with weather like this, man. It was such a good. And then of course some of that's probably the vitamin D. People don't appreciate the sun. That's how we get our sun. And I have darker skin, not that dark, but so I need a little bit more sun than people with lighter skin. And vitamin D helps with your mood, right, and other things. I mean, you know, we are organic, like plants, right? So we need a certain amount of water and nutrition. So, you know, I'm sure that was part of it, but just also just that it just feels good to be. I mean, for me, I love being outdoors, especially when the weather is favorable. So it's nice and cool, breeze, and then, you know, where I live is so beautiful. Unfortunately, a lot of the flowers are falling off. This is my first, you know, spring here, so I didn't even realize the flowers would, I mean, I guess it's obvious, but I didn't expect them to just like fall off like that. Somehow I just like assumed they'd always be there or something. That's dumb. I mean, I'm a person, I have plants, right? I have plants with flowers, so I should know better. But I just saw these beautiful flowers everywhere. There's like cherry blossoms and I don't know all the names, so many different colors. I mean, just so, you know, spectacular. In the back, I had this like bright yellow flower, but that's all gone. That lasted like a couple weeks. The ones in the front, there's like a white sort of flower. They're all falling off, but that's beautiful too. Watching the flowers fall to the ground. It's a beautiful sight. But yeah, I'm loving it, man. And now, out on the road, enjoying my car. Oh, with reserve fuel as usual. So I gotta go get some gas. I hope you're having a great day, man. And on that note, SV, did you go for a ride? Your good vibes about they are making me feel good over here. Yeah, you gotta go ride, man. I had a BMW chasing me earlier. He was on me. He wanted something. I gave him a little something. Gotta be careful though. My car needs to be adjusted somewhat. So I'm not fully where I should be in terms of handling. Woo! I love these roads. So those are my thoughts on the Vanguard video. Obviously, they had more points to make than just talking about the guy being a highly trained Marine. Sorry about that. Bad reception in the mountains here. I'm going faster than my signal could go. A really one-dimensional view of the military, and I wanted to talk about it from a good perspective. I know a right winger would love to bring in some military guy like myself to come and show how the left doesn't know anything about guns, but that is not me. Fellow motorcyclists. Guy doing? This guy's like fixing he's standing up on his bike fixing his shoe or something, fixing his pants. Oh, cops. Yeah, that's right. That's cool that he did that though, because usually, you know, bikers versus cars, usually we have an antagonistic relationship. looking at the cops back there. I don't know if that, because sometimes they do some coordinated stuff. So there'll be a guy up in the mountains that's like a spotter, and then like yellow Corvette, you know. So even though I cruised by at the speed limit past him, it doesn't matter because the guy up, you know what I mean? But they just chilling, man. They've been, two of them been sitting there, a SUV and a car, squad car, just sitting there since I went out. So I don't know. I don't think they're doing anything. But anyway, I appreciate that the biker, he gave me the signal. So we have a signal where pretty much you hit your helmet with your hand, and that means cops. That's interesting. I don't know that cars do that. That's a biker thing, as far as I know. So, I mean, maybe he's just doing it instinctually. That's what we do to other riders. I'm not a rider right now, but he just does it without thinking like that's a biker signal. Or maybe cars do it. I've never heard of it with cars. I've never known of cars. I mean, because cars, you don't wear helmets, right? But I guess you could hit your head. I don't know. It doesn't really apply to cars, because on a bike you're exposed, right? So you could do a gesture like that. The idea of being in a car and doing hand gestures to other drivers seems silly, right? That's why you do like flash your lights, right? So I don't know. I think he just didn't think about it that deeply. He was just like, you know, let me you know, warn my fellow automotive enthusiast, right? Automotive, not bike, not car, automotive. But I appreciate that. I knew they were there, but I appreciate it still. Anyway, on that note, let me just pull over real quick. There goes a Mustang, drop top, about to get a good drive in today, I'm sure. Oh, look at these girls running. They ran out of the way so quick. Yeah, man. Just realized he's Andrew, where you been, man? Where have you been? Asleep at the wheel. Asleep at the handlebars. Jock is in the house. My man Jock is in the house. Late. He's late for class. He missed me ripping into the Vanguard at high speeds in the twisties. Right? Who else talks politics that can rip into another channel while drifting through the corners? I wasn't drifting, guys. I'm not that crazy. Those roads were too narrow, and it's too high. I'm high up. You lose control. You're going off the edge of a cliff, and at the bottom is water. So I'm not gonna be going all out doing craziness in a spot like that, especially with my car not set up perfectly. If it was set up perfectly, there's some spots that I might do a little drifting at, you know, some decent speeds, nothing too crazy. But generally speaking, it's too tight. The roads are too narrow, and the consequences of failure. I mean, if you lose control, you start sliding and you go off the edge. I mean, that's not gonna be good. There's a time and place for everything, and that was not the time or place for that. But right here, this right here, woo! All right, settle down, settle down, settle down. Made a lot of noise there. A lot of noise. Woo. around like that with my radar detector off. What a fool. What a fool. What is that, a C8 behind me? Looks like it. Yeah, I think that's a C8. Yeah, looking nice, man. Ferrari red. Yeah, man, that thing looks sexy. Oh, man. Yeah, that's the for the guys not into car culture. That's one thing that's really cool. Like, you know, it's not all cars, but when you have a certain car, motorcycle, it's like motorcycle doesn't matter what motorcycle really. Well, sport bikes doesn't matter what sport bike. Sometimes the cruisers, you know, sometimes they're not that friendly all the time. But generally speaking, if you're on a bike, you're in the bike club. In a car, not so much, but if by brand, right? I'm in a Corvette, that guy was in a C8, I wave at him, he waves at me, right? They flash their lights at me, I flash my lights at them, like we greet each other. When I had the Miata, it was the same thing. I see a Miata, you know, they flash their lights, they come and talk to me in the parking lot. You know, I'm sure BMW, same thing. So that's a thing with cars. Generally, it's by brand though. Sometimes you do get respect just like with sport bikes, with sports cars. So I might get acknowledgement or a greeting from somebody in muscle cars. So a Mustang guy might wave or something, or a guy in a you know, a Dodge Charger or Challenger or whatever, red eye. It's rare, right? I'm sure if I was driving the same car as them, then I'd get it. But generally speaking, it's a weird thing. Like if you're not in the same car, you don't get the same greeting. But sometimes, because, you know, muscle car, you get the muscle car head nod. But it's really cool. You might pull up in a parking lot just to get something, and then somebody who has a muscle car as well, or even a sports car, will come up to you, you know, ask you about your car, take a look at it, whatever. So it's real cool, man. We got this kind of community thing going on. All right, let me catch up on the comments so I could end the live stream, which ran on longer than it should, 47 minutes. How you enjoying? Got news for you, Chief. They'll all lie. You're good. Great riding weather. Yep. SV1000 Widowmaker. I hold the world record for Las Vegas to Atlanta in 6 hours racing at BMW 80% of the way. Listen, I did 170 miles per hour, LA to heading out to Las Vegas, man. Holy crap. When you're going 180 miles per hour, something that is far away is not really far away. It's an insane thing. Like most people, if you've never driven that fast, those on a motorcycle, but you have no idea. It's an insane thing to see something way down the road and have to be thinking immediately about maneuvering around it or whatever. Because in the blink of an eye, you're going to, you know, it's going to be on you because you're moving that fast, right? I mean, I don't know what the math is. Do the math. 180 miles per hour. How many feet per second is that? It's a lot. Every second, it's like a lot. Hey, Andrew. Carl's got some righteous streams. Love this guy's stuff. Just genuine. I appreciate it, Andrew. Just realized you got a bit. Come on, man. Yep, right from the heart and straight from the car. Amen. Yes. Well, lately you've been in your basement. Yeah, man, I'm back in the basement. I'm gonna be there for a while. So good news on that stuff. I think I have a good tenant possibly for the unit that just got emptied out on the bottom, which I'm working on right now, painting the deck. It's two brothers. They're younger, like maybe early 30s. One's a trainer and the other one's, I forgot what he is. They claim they have the income. I had a good vibe with them. They got, I think, 2 dogs, but it's fine. I'm not worried about that. They even volunteered, like, to help cut the yard. I was like, all right, man. It's just stuff like that I recognize, man. You know, I mean, I understand that they're trying to get the place, and I understand it can be difficult to get a place. So potentially someone might say something just to kind of, like, you know, nice me up or whatever. But I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. It's not just in politics with these clowns on YouTube. In real life, even more so in real life, when I'm really face to face with people, I have a good sense of their personality, and whether they're being honest or not. And, you know, I can take information from what they say, how they say it, when they say it, you know, a lot of different things. I was getting a good vibe. We got to do background checks, all that kind of stuff, but this will be great if I can get them in there. They'll be coming in at a good number for me. And considering the market's been a little bit bad, that's good. I have another one for the top. That one's kind of weird. The guy seemed cool and all, but he's got this dog. My tenant on top is he's sensitive to noise. I don't want any drama. But the guy claims his dog doesn't really bark, and he crates it. I don't know. It's tough, man. I can't afford to keep the place empty. But if I put somebody in there and the dog is making noises, it's gonna be a problem. So I might need to put something in the lease that covers that, because I need to have power. Like, in, you know, being in the area that I'm in, I don't have a lot of power. So I need to make sure the lease gives me some extra ability to enforce something. Because if he's gonna be in there and just like creating a nuisance, nothing wrong with the person, but the dog is a nuisance, I can't just subject my other tenants to that, right? My responsibility is to make sure everybody's happy and enjoys they're paying me money for a place to stay, to be able to enjoy the place and not be, you know, woken up in the middle of the night, right? So I have to be empowered to address it if this dog. So I wish the market wasn't the way it is right now, that I have to be so, you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have to even consider a guy with a dog, knowing that I have thin walls and a guy that he's sensitive to sound. But unfortunately, like, I'm out of time. I need to get tenants in there. So it's a weird balancing line. But anyway, I'm really close to getting out of the financial crisis. But unfortunately, that means I'm going to be in the basement for a while, because I'm getting potentially 2 long-term tenants. I didn't really want to get 2 long-term because I want to be able to move in. And I'm not going to move into that place with that other crazy guy. That's another story. But yeah, I mean, I'll be out of the crisis, so at least I won't be going backwards anymore. My credit just dropped to, it's just like 605 now. So my credit's really taking a beating, because my credit cards are almost maxed out. I have like 2 of them 95%. So I'm in a bad state. I gotta get out of it ASAP. So if I can make this thing work with this guy, I gotta do it. Anyway, just make sure you get the best tires you can get before you, yeah. I want to upgrade my tires, but obviously I can't do that right now. These tires are really expensive. I mean, tires for a car like this. But I'm really excited to hopefully get on my feet financially to where I could get, you know, some nice tires. Because these tires are good, they have a good amount of tread, but they're Toyo Proxies. Toyo Proxies 888Rs. So look that up. Toyo Proxy 888R. Supposed to be a good tire, but I want to try something else. Maybe Michelin's Pilot Sport or something like that. Maybe the what's the other one? The Michelin. I forgot. They have a high-end tire, but yeah, I definitely want to. That's a good thing to invest money in tires, because it's all about traction, man. And then I want to get my sway bar adjusted so I can improve my handling, and then that's a wrap. This car has great handling as is, but I'm sure it's capable of so much more. But I just need to do those tweaks, but I need the money to do it. Also, no need for that. Better than comedians in cars. Love the manual shift and up and down motor winding. Yep. I think car people are more tribal. Yeah, that's a good point. Cause yeah, it's like, you know, you're in a Chevy, I'm in a Ford. Like, screw you, right? 120 for me is good enough. You got the water wasting situation. Oh yeah, that's been fixed. That was $1,000 almost to fix that, and then $3,000 wasted. I'm going after him for that. I know I can't get any money from him, but I want there to be some consequences. You wasted $3,000 of water, and you're gonna get away with no consequences. I'm sorry. even if he has to pay $5 a month for the rest of his life, like whatever. The idea of being above the law, right? That's ridiculous. I don't care that whatever his issue is, but he's got all these resources, social services, whatever. Help the guy, man. Help the guy. He's got issues. Help him. Don't just send him money and then leave him to be spiraling out of control, leaving other tenants to be, dealing with all the nonsense. Right now, he's got trash that smells like a dead cat. Like, why should people go to work and work hard and then come home, paying rent and have to be smelling this guy's trash, and no one will do anything? No one. I sent email to the social services person, no response. Right? I told them the conditions are unsanitary. They come and they spend 10 minutes talking to the guy in the front lawn, never look at any of the conditions. They never go in the unit. They never try to even look and see what's going on. They just totally abandon him. It's just like they send the money, right? Send the money so he can supposedly pay the rent, but he doesn't, and be able to buy food. And then whatever happens. Everybody, all the rest of us, like, our lives don't matter, right? We don't matter. The only thing that matters is that this guy has food to eat. I don't understand. Why can't they feed the guy, make sure he's taken care of, and help him when he's having issues? Whatever his issue is, help him. Like, psychology, whatever it is, do something. Like, take some responsibility. Like, if the guy can't take care of himself and you guys are like taking care of him, like you're providing food and stuff, well, take care of him. I don't get it, man. It's crazy. Whoever it was, completely jerk for sure. I like Toyo's grip for days. Death penalty or cruel and unusual punishment for that water waste. Man, that's crazy, man. And for the trash, even harsher. It's, I was smelling, those kids came to the yard recently, right? That I told you guys. Look at this Charger. Oh, that's like a base model. I didn't hear nothing. Unless he's got the valves or something, but I didn't hear nothing. That's a Challenger rolling by, and I didn't hear nothing. Yeah, man. He wasted all that water and nothing. Oh, I was gonna say, so the kids came by, right? So I was painting. Every time I walk by, I smell this thing like a dead rat. I'm like, don't tell me these kids go and put some dead animal over here. Then I realized this guy's trash. It smells bad, and the wind was blowing, so it was blowing all the way to the back where I was. Every once in a while, I was smelling like this dead cat smell. Like, bro. And the thing is, you tell them about it, they show up and they don't even check. Wow. If they don't want to, let me stop. Let me just stop. Above the law, that's typical of a blue state governor. Look at all the gun control. No, man, it's not a blue state thing. Red state does the same thing, right? Yeah, man. But the problem is, in their states, it's the opposite. You have the landlord has all the rights, right? The landlord is above the law, right? Landlord decides to raise the rent by $1,000. Somebody's been living in your house for 10 years and you just like randomly $1,000, and then everybody's doing the same thing. So now you have people who can't afford to live anywhere because if you're a greedy landlord, you could just do whatever. And then if you want to be like a slumlord thing, it's easier to kick people out. That can help if you have a bad tenant, but it also can help if you're an out of control landlord, right? So it's not about a blue state thing. It's about a partisan thing. It's about each side leans in all the way, one way or the other way, right? So in the blue state, it's, protect the poor, screw everybody else. Everybody else can die, right? You go to a red state, protect the businesses. They're the ones who bring in the jobs and everything. Protect the landlords and this and that. This is to help the economy. Meanwhile, the poor people that are getting kicked out unfairly, having their rents doubled just for no reason, Oh, well, I guess you should work harder. Right? No accountability. Right? So the thing is, no one will protect the poor, the middle class, and the upper middle. If you're above upper middle, you don't need any protection. But no one will protect the poor, the middle, well, just poor in the middle class. It's either focus on the poor or focus on the middle class, right? Because that's the sex and explosions, sex and violence. I'm not a creative writer, so I'm just gonna use boobs and bombs, and that's gonna sell me movie tickets, right? I don't really care about Americans. I'm a Republican governor. I don't really care about Americans. I don't care about the country. I don't care about the voters, right? I don't have any like plan about how I'm gonna make their lives better, right? So what I'm gonna do, boobs and bombs. Oh, we gotta protect the small businesses and this and that, right? We gotta protect the businesses, tax cuts for the rich, right? Blue state, right? I don't have any big plan. I'm not really serious. I don't really care about my voters. So what am I gonna do? Bombs and boobs, right? The poor, we gotta keep the homeless off, the homeless, the poor. Right? That's what they do. And on that note, let me roll, guys. I gotta go to the hardware store to pick up some curtains and some other stuff. Hopefully I remember. But anyway, I'm out! I could have jumped in front of this guy. He's going so slow.